Haverfordwest County are a team originally in the Welsh Premier Division, and recently they were taken over by very rich investors. So I decided to up the ante on Football Manager and give them £1 billion in their bank balance. However, the Welsh League is the 106th ranked league in Europe, so I'm moving them to the Premier League. Now, what I'm expecting from this experiment is we are going to see the worst Premier League team of all time to begin with, because the players in this team right now are absolutely dreadful. If we are looking at just their most valuable player, it's this man, Dan Hawkins, and you can see he is really terrible. And if we're looking at his attributes, his current ability is 76 out of 200. To give you a bit of context, I would say the worst team, because I've replaced them with Burnley, the worst team outside of that is possibly Wolves. And if we're looking at one of their worst players, so I mean, this guy here, Harvey Griffiths, who's one of the least valuable players, he has 72 current ability. So he would be the best player in Haverfordwest County's team. So the experiment, I think, is going to be quite interesting, because after that first season, they're going to start gaining reputation, because right now their reputation is really low. It's sitting at 1,800 out of 10,000. Currently, the Premier League tends to have clubs at the lower end of the 7,000 and up, close to 9,500 when you look at Liverpool, Manchester City, etc. So what I'm curious to see is how long it takes before Haverfordwest County start to sort of stabilise themselves in the English leagues. Will they go all the way down to the Vanarama National Leagues, or the Enterprise National Leagues, whatever it is now? Will they sort of stagnate around the Sky Bet League 2 one area when they eventually drop down into that because they've started bringing in players because they have the money? Will they ever get to the Premier League? That's what I'm kind of curious to find out. So today we're going to do that experiment, but there's also a reason why we're doing this experiment. And that is because this video is sponsored by my good friends at Surprise Shirts with their FM edition box. And guess who is in this one? It's the only real time I've ever had a heads up. But it's the most beautiful kit that I think I've ever seen. I need to put this on right now. Being funny, but come on. This kit is beautiful. It's absolutely lovely. So thank you very much to Surprise Shirts for sending this one out. More on those guys later on how you're going to get your own. For now, though, it's back to the Premier League with Haverfordwest, because they scored their first goal and it's an absolute beauty. It did take them quite a long time, though, before they scored their first goal at their home pitch in Wales, which was against Sunderland, and it was from the penalty spot. To be honest, though, this is kind of what I expected, really. Their first game of the season was a 13-0 loss to Manchester United, followed by 4-0 against Leeds, 8-0 against Everton. Palace only had 2-0 in the Cup, and that's actually who they scored against when they went away to Selhurst Park in the league. Ukon Nuo is the first ever goal scorer for Haverfordwest in the Premier League. But that was followed by 11-0 in a Manchester game again, 6-0 against Arsenal, and of course the Sunderland game, which was the first time they scored at home, so something to give their home fans something to cheer for. But I mean, we're not expecting this at all. Already their club reputation has gone up a little bit, because what we can see, 1,800 is what it is right now. It's going to be a long time. And as I mentioned, I mean, some of these clubs are, I mean, Liverpool, they're about to play Liverpool. Liverpool's world reputation is nearly 9,000. So it's such a difference, which is obviously how you attract players in the transfer market, etc. You can have the highest reputation in one of the lowest leagues, and you can potentially sign the best players. But if you're in one of the highest leagues with the lowest reputation, like Haverfordwest County is, no players are really want to come to you. And I think that's what they're going to struggle with, because their transfer history, you can see, it's a lot of free transfers. Nobody's coming in for any money, and you're not really recognising any of the names. Jeffrey Bonney, I recognise him. That's Wilfred Bonney's son, apparently, somebody told me. But he is joined as a free transfer. And obviously, you recognise that they've got all this money. Why aren't they spending it? They can't. They can't. When you're this low in terms of the reputation, you can't buy players. They don't want to come to you, despite having £1 billion in the balance and £750 million transfer budget. It's going to take time. Will they manage to actually win a game, though? Or gain a point? Will they gain a point in their first season in the Premier League? God, the answer's no. 0 points. No draws, no wins. 38 out of 38 losses. They scored 4 goals. Oh, my. That's worse than what I actually thought they would do. I thought during the January window, because their reputation would have gone up enough, they got Chris Coleman as their manager, though. I mean, not a bad manager to bring in, but yeah, I thought that the January window would have allowed them to bring in a couple of players, and it looks like they spent money in January. So there we go. So they have actually been able to do that. Luke Daly's come in. There's a few players who've come in for like 30,000. But look where they're coming from. Truro. That's like the Enterprise National League South. Kings Lynn, also non-league. Leamington, non-league. The QPR lad is probably not very good. No, he really isn't. So they're not being able to bring in the types of players that are even going to compete in the Premier League in this first season. So we're going to go down a division. They are professional still. They're going to go down a division into the Championship. Then it will be quite interesting to see, all right, now that they're in the Championship, do they pick up any players? 1,800 was their reputation. It's still 1,000. Actually, it's gone down ever so slightly. I thought it would go up. I must admit, I thought playing in the Premier League with all that TV, I thought it would go up. But maybe it's because they've lost every single game, they've become a bit of a laughing stock, and it's got worse for them. Well, things got slightly better for them in the second season within the fact that they actually managed to win a game against Bolton. But that was their only win, alongside 2 draws that they picked up against Doncaster and Watford, finishing bottom of the league again in the Championship. They had spent 375 grand on players, including Cody Johnson being the most expensive from FC Halifax, but again, not exactly a Championship contending worthy player for 225 grand. And really, if you're looking at them as a whole, they're going to struggle when they're buying players like Mark Randall, who then retired halfway through the season. What they did manage to do, though, reputation-wise, was climb to 2,680, which is a positive. I really did think down in Sky Bet League 1, they might start picking up more points, but again, it was just 1 win all season against Wickham. There was a couple of more green victories when you look at the Virtue trophies or some kind of FA Cup first round against Rotherham, and there was occasionally a draw every now and then, but most of the time they are losing games, but at least they're losing them kind of competitively compared to the Premier League. And of course, there's no surprising that they finished at the bottom of the league again with just 7 points. In fact, if you put all 3 of their points tallies together, they still would not be anywhere near surviving or even finishing in 23rd place in this. It's kind of embarrassing for them, but still, it's a long old process. Rome wasn't built overnight. Harvard West County was not built overnight. The reputation has gone up yet again. We've just got to hope that eventually, sometime, it clicks and they can stay in the division and build from there. Let me quickly tell you about how you can get one of these glorious shirts for yourself using Surprise Shirts. Because it's never been easier to get a shirt using my link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment. It takes you straight to my own landing page so you know you're in the right spot. From there, simply select your size of shirt, choose how obscure you're wanting to go for your surprise shirt. How ballsy are you feeling? And if there's a certain club that you don't want it to be, or maybe a certain league that you don't want it to be in, or even a color shirt, you can put that in there too. But the hardest decision comes next, as you need to decide whether it's a one-time purchase or you want this surprise shirt every month. Now, there are many benefits from using the subscribe and save, not to mention it's 11% cheaper, so it's £33.81 per shirt, but you also get a free shirt with your 12th sub box, so you don't even have to pay for that 12th one, which is absolutely lovely. You'll save quite a lot throughout the year. It's also no contract, so you could just cancel it at any time. But the automatic draws that you get for a monthly prize draw, some of the prizes that you get are phenomenal. You can get match tickets. You could even be lucky enough to go abroad and go watch a game like somebody did last year, where they went with Tom FM and the guys at Surprise Shirts to watch a game in Gibraltar. That might be worth doing just on its own. Either way, once you have made your decision, make sure you use the code 10Luke for that one-time purchase to get yourself an extra 10% off, or 20 Luke to get yourself 20% off the first purchase if you go down the subscribe and save route. And again, the landing page, the link to do so is going to be at the top of the description or in the pinned comments. Thank you very much once again for Surprise Shirts for sponsoring the video and picking out this absolutely corking shirt. Back to the task at hand with Haverfordwest County, and finally we might actually have some good news as the club drops down into Sky Bet League 2, because the recruitment, the reputation, everything has fallen into place and they're not finally sat at the bottom of a league table for once. No, though, I'm feeling quite proud actually. Sky Bet League 2, so this is the 4th season now that they've dropped down and they're nowhere near the bottom. They've actually avoided relegation. The experiment is on. I did have some kind of worry that they were just going to keep plummeting down and to leagues that we can't even access. But we're there. Haverford County West, 12 wins, 12 draws. They've done really well. And actually, they've recruited well this season. I think out of all of the seasons, this might be the best one, despite 125 grand going on just one player who isn't necessarily that good. He only played 13 games. It's the rest of it. I mean, a free transfer in Ajayi, who scored quite a lot of goals. 7, but, you know. Ante Karnak got 9 goals as well. Compared to the goals that they were getting, this is quite a lot. And even at the end of last season, so you're looking at 2028, this is where they started signing players for this season. Dante Casanova is a good sign. I recognise his name, a good right-back option. But they've made some decent signings to the point where, actually, I fancy their chances of maybe going up a season later. Ted Kurd is another one. I mean, a decent goalkeeper for this level. Very good goalkeeper for this level. Is it too much to say that they might climb all the way back up? I think it might be. If we're looking at reputation, though, it's done the world of good. 3,600. 3,600. Double that, and we could be good for a championship. We're a long way off yet. The following season, they even climbed into 7th place, just missing out in the playoffs. But the following season, it was a bit of a drop-off as they missed out on the playoffs, finishing mid-table in Sky Bet League 2. Obviously grounded and found their level, we just now need a little bit of luck, I guess. We need somebody to come in and make decent decisions in terms of transfers, because their reputation is kind of just stagnated, because they're not really doing anything, but they still have all of that money. They still have £850 million to spend, and they still have a rich benefactor in the foreground, giving them £265 million to put towards a transfer budget. They're not spending it. They don't know how to yet. But after a 12th place finish the following season, the season after that, it was another disappointing season, because on the final day, they lost the last remaining automatic promotion spot in Sky Bet League 2 and still failed in the playoffs. Finally, though, in season number 9, Haverfordwest County had something to celebrate in Sky Bet League 2. Dominating league performance. 94 points, going up as champions. That's great. Only losing 8 games, winning 28. Not bad whatsoever as well in terms of only conceding 35 goals, scoring 72. I think this is a positive thing. Now, we've got Matt Bloomfield as the manager. So Matt Bloomfield, he's now 50. He's been manager of Ipswich, Oxford. He starts off at Luton, I think. So, yeah, we're doing all right here. I think he's a decent manager who's took us up. Now, player-wise, some interesting talents in the player-wise, because we can see we've just added a Danish player who's got one of those ESC work permits. So I don't know how well that's going to stick. But he's at 133 current ability. We've got the in-game editor so we can see things like this. He is really good. As a striker, he's very good. And if he played for the whole season, because it looks like he only played 20 games, he got 12 goals in those 20 games. You can see why too. Because physical attributes are king down in the lower edges, and he's got good physical attributes, very quick. Off the ball, 16, finishing at 14. I'm really hoping they managed to keep him around. He was signed on a free transfer at the start of the season. He only played 21 games. Crazy. But he's already worth 6.4 to 19 million. So that's blown me away how good that is. But they've got some good players all around him. Neil Willis has been there a few seasons, I noticed, and a good winger as well. Yeah, they need to capitalise on this because that's a fantastic start. It's also pumped their reputation up to the 4,421. The season after, they were so unlucky losing in the playoffs final in Sky Bet League One. They almost did back-to-back promotions. And again, it might be down to the recruitment of the players that they are bringing in. Ryan Hunter is now their key player, 144 current ability with 168 potential, although he is age 25, but look how amazing he already looks. This could be a game changer if they manage to keep hold of him for at least a couple of more seasons. Yes! It's another promotion! It took 2 seasons, but playoff misery in the final last year. Automatic promotion behind Birmingham this year. 91 points. Going back up the league table. Ryan Hunt is still there. They've also got Brian Maggio, who I know is a really good... Look how good he is. So, I mean, their reputation is definitely getting better because they're being able to sign good players, but also good players who have decent attributes in the right places, because you can always get 135 current ability players that just might not look as good as Brian Maggio or what Ryan Hunter is looking like. But Matt Bloomfield is doing a wonderful job here. That's like, what, 4 seasons he's been there, and he's 2 promotions, nearly winning the playoffs as well. So Ryan Hunt is still their best player, 144, but he's got really good statistics. Brian Maggio was top scorer with 24 goals, but they're also using the loan market quite cleverly too, bringing in fantastic players like this man from Manchester City. So they're going up into the championship. They need to keep doing things like this. If they keep doing things like this, you don't know. You don't know. At least survive in the championship, but you might be able to sneak one of those playoff positions. And then once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. But, I mean, I'm really happy with how that's turned around, because I thought we could be in for an absolute stinking video here. But the reputation's gone up to 5,150, so it's a good sign. Finances still looking great. £700 million in the bank. He's dropped down to a rich benefactor in the background. I'm going to pump that back into the foreground because I have the ability to do so. Haverfordwest County's recruitment was once again on point, and they got to the playoffs. But unfortunately, they were eliminated at the semi-final stage. Even still, getting to the semi-final was pretty good, and they only lost to West Ham, one of the biggest clubs probably in this league. So, I mean, finishing in 6th place, really strong. 78 points from Haverfordwest County. Still Matt Bloomfield as well. And they've kept hold of the good players. I mean, they've kept hold of Brian Maggio. They've accidentally sold, I imagine, the other guy that we were looking at, but they've loaned the best players for them. Look how good he is. Look how good Stefan Koller is that they've loaned. They've got Daniel Kronberger from... I mean, he looks unbelievable as a midfielder too. They're doing very well in terms of recruitment. £24 million was brought in, £34 million out. You hate to see it, but Ryan Hunter unfortunately went to Manchester United. They got a huge profit on him, of course, but yeah, they're at least being able to spend money now because their reputation is allowing them to do so. And this is where this could get kind of fun. Because we are looking at 5,236 reputation. I imagine that a couple of more seasons in the championship, you just never know. Come on. I can smell a promotion back to that Premier League, and it's going to be... Oh, it's going to be so good when they get back there. But then they had me worried, because they finished 23rd in the league, was relegated, and sacked Matt Bloomfield. However, just 1 season later, and we're celebrating promotion again. 85 points as champions of Sky Bet League One, with Steffi Mavididi in charge as their manager. And his first season back in the championship for the club was a good one, finishing mid-table, exactly where you'd hope them to be after spending £35 million, bringing in some quality players, with the likes of Brian Maggio still around and still scoring goals. We've just got to hope now that the club doesn't just stagnate in this position. They actually try to capitalise in their spot in terms of the championship place that they currently have. A mid-table finish in the first season is great, But when it continues to be a mid-table finish, the second and the third season, that's when you really got to hope that the club starts putting its money where its mouth is. They have the money in the bank to turn this club into one of the best teams in the Championship and gain that promotion back to the Premier League. Once they have that, then who knows what could happen. Because 3 seasons later, 11th place, a 17th spot, and then a 6th place finish still means we are in the Championship, albeit missing out in the playoff semi-final to a very good Aston Villa side. They currently have a guy called Joe Bennett in charge now, so a 53-year-old manager who's been around the block. Again, a lot of clubs just in the English leagues, and the players are kind of unrecognizable. Maggio's gone. Jermaine Perez is their best player right now. Doesn't look amazing, which kind of worries me a little bit. He's an Argentinian centre midfielder. We don't necessarily have that out-and-out striker right now who's scoring the goals. We've got a loan signed in who got the goals this season, which helped us get to the playoffs. So that's what worries me ever so slightly. But the reputation of the club is at 6,790. Just a couple of seasons in the Championship, and it's really boosted how much reputation they have. We just need a little bit of luck. Again, we mentioned that earlier. We got £500 million in the bank balance. It's gone back to an underwriter, so let's put that back to a foreground. Let's bump this back up, shall we? Let's give that 700. Let's give that 500. They haven't, or 280. They haven't been spending it anyway, so we'll see. We need a push into the Premier League. Once that happens, we just know now they're in a much better spot in the Premier League that they might actually be able to do something. Well, the following season, Joe had done it, spending £67 million and £67 million well spent because they won the Championship, finishing top of the Championship with just 10 losses and 8 draws by a point above Aston Villa, meaning they're going into the Premier League. And Joe has also managed to get the highest recorded finish in the Premier League, 14th. That's where they finished this season. They survived. Chelsea won the league, but you can see they finished above Arsenal. And they spent £83 million, which is quite a lot, £55 million on a man from Swansea, another Welsh club, of course. And he's very, very good. He's actually their best player. If you're looking at it in terms of current ability, 157. We've got another player, 155, who's also really good, who plays on the right wing. And Esposito is still scoring goals up front too. So they've got a 4-4-2 manager. I think Joe Bennett, he loves a 4-4-2. So there we go. So they're playing 4-4-2. They've got 2 strikers. They're doing all right. In the Premier League, 14th place. More of that, please. Let's see what we can do. Let's have a quick check, actually. The reputation, 7,300, so that's not too bad. Let's bump this back up. So let's give them back £1 billion. Let's go 280 transfer million. There we go. £4,000. He left again. It's cheeky, isn't it? Right, he's still there. Come on. Haverfordwest County. We need to get further up in the Premier League and giving them 10 more years. 2 seasons later, though, not only have we beaten the record, we're up to 9th place, which is now the highest in the Premier League history for Haverfordwest County. But we've got ourselves a new manager, and he's pretty good as well. He also enjoys the 4-4-2, but Julian Gressel of the USA, an elite motivator, an elite people management. He looks absolutely amazing, and they are spending big money too. £183 million worth of players just coming in the summer just gone. You can already see the quality that we're looking at. I've got another 3 seasons. The weird world of football. Right, so Julian Gressel has potentially been one of the best things to ever happen to Haverfordwest County, even though he followed Joe Bennett, who was great for them. They're still spending money. They just finished 3rd in the Premier League. But I don't think they're going to get Champions League spots, because what is this? Only 2 positions get in the Champions League. I'm not quite sure why that's played out, but still, because they're first in the rankings, so I know, surely they're still going to get in the Premier League, right? Surely. The players that they've got some phenomenal talents now. You can see they are rocking with some world-class players. I mean, this Sergio Salas is a great winger, and he's only 23 as well. They've got this man who plays up front, Argentinian, looks amazing. They've got Antonio at the back, so they're doing really well. I know it's a shame there's no Welsh players in there. There's one down here, Scott Davies, who's like loaned out, so maybe he came through the youth academy, but they're not necessarily bringing through any Welsh players through their youth academy, but they're buying great players. And that's how they're going to be successful, we hope, because they still haven't necessarily won anything. 0 Premier Leagues, 0 FA Cups, or League Cups, for that matter. But they're climbing, and that's the main thing. Look at this. They're climbing. Whereas they sort of like stagnated for ages around the Championship. 7th place, 3rd place finish in 2050. 5 more years. Can they win the Premier League within 5 seasons, please? Well, within 2 more seasons, the manager was replaced with Alvaro Arbeloa, who's now 69 years old. They are still spending money, £168 million. You can see they've just paid £52 million for a player from PSG. But they are, of course, selling players too. And unfortunately, they have dropped down the league table into 6th place. And they're still nowhere near Spurs, who won the title by 20 points with 100 total points. So they are struggling. And that 3rd place is still the highest spot that they have got so far, with 3 seasons left. Whoa, it's not a good sign when the club has, well, is in the box for looking for a manager, is it? But, I mean, it's still a 4th place. Still a 4th place. What happened to the manager? Arbeloa, did he leave? Retired. Ah, makes sense. All right. Well, that isn't too bad. It's just replacing him now. 4th place. Not bad. I mean, they're a little bit close to the Spurs, who are 15 points ahead. Still not spending any money, though. Still not spending the money. The following season, the manager that they replaced Arbeloa with was Jay Annan, who is a new gen 4-4-2 veteran again, though, and very elite in quite a lot of things. At Harvard West County, he signed £148 million, which is great, but they sold £340 million, including Salas, who went to Real Madrid, and Owete, who went to Barcelona, who was clearly one of their better players. He did, however, keep them in 4th spot, which is quite good, and only 11 points behind Liverpool, who finished top. It though, 20, 55, 30 years since we put them into the Premier League. Let's see where they have ended up in this final year. It's 4th place again. Now, I don't know what's happened to Europa League or any Champions League football, because it's gone down to just 3 positions. Again, they're closer. It's closer. They're closing in every single season. Jay Annan, what were you going to establish? Oh my God, he spent $330 million. They were just about to start, weren't they? They were just about to start. Oh my God, look at the players that they've signed. Wow. Wow. They were actually right about to... I've caught this at the really bad time. But I think this is one of those scenarios where we wanted them to establish themselves in the Premier League eventually. They've done that. They've now become a bit of a contender. They are only, 8 points, 9 points behind Premier League leaders and champions Liverpool. So, yeah, I mean, even less than that, actually. 7 points behind them. So, I mean... What we could have asked for is to do that. They dropped all the way down to Sky Bet League 2. I got a little bit worried, I must admit. But they pulled it back. And within 30 years, they went all the way down and all the way back up. And they've stayed there. And at the minute, I mean, I don't know what's happened with the Champions League. It might be because we don't have any other leagues loaded. But this is elite stuff from Haverfordwest County. And this guy looks like he could be the one that's going to take him on a bit of a journey right now. But there was no history, no FA Cups, nothing. No Premier Leagues, no Champions Leagues. They didn't even play in the Champions League, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, it really did change when Matt Bloomfield changed it a little bit. And Bennett was the other guy who changed it and did quite well. But there we have it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed experiments like this, because I really do. Remember, use the link at the top of the description. It will take you to my landing page for surprise shirts, and maybe you could pick up a Haverfordwest County shirt. Because I'll be honest, it's one of the best shirts that they've ever sent me. I love the blue and yellow, hence the TCW colours being that blue and yellow, the Boca Juniors colour scheme, and that's the reason why I absolutely adore this kit. So thank you very much to them, and make sure you are using the codes 10 Luke, 20 Luke for that extra discount, whether you're using the one-off purchase or the subscription. Both is good. Remember the subscription. There's so many other benefits from it as well. Thank you very much. If you're looking for something else to watch right now, Dad and I have done an unemployed to the Champions League race. Starting off unemployed, who can win the Champions League first? That's on screen right now.